Hi, this is Roger, thanks for dropping by. It's getting late in the day. Yeah, some house stuff. I had an envelope come through with the contracts for the next 6 months for this place. They come in 6 monthly chunks in the UK. One copy's for me, one's for the landlord and one's for the agent, so 3 lots. And my signature has to be witnessed by somebody. So I thought to myself, I could kill 2 birds with 1 stone here. If I take the contracts to the agent, it's not a million miles away, it's about 5 or 6 miles, so just up the road. I thought, if I take the contracts to the agent, first of all, somebody in the office can witness it, and I don't have to start running around the neighbourhood trying to find witnesses and explain what they've got, you know. So I went into the office and signed the 3 contracts, got the 3 contracts witnessed, and then went to the main man in the corner and asked if I could have a chat about the place. And he said, yes, certainly. And I mentioned the alleyway with all the kicked up pavers and, you know, the fact that it's become dangerous and everything. And more importantly, I started to talk about the tree, and he said, hold on. And he went and got the last set of videos that were taken. You know, when I said the lady came round to do the inspection, well, she did the garden and she did the alleyway on my request, and she specifically filmed the tree. So he got the clips up. And I said, as you can see, once upon a time the tree was there because somebody painted the fence either side of it and they couldn't get behind the trunk, so there's a bit that didn't get painted. That bit is now clearly visible, therefore the tree has moved away from it because the fence hasn't moved, has it? And then he zoomed back out and you could see the angle the tree was at. I explained to him that was a little bit of a misconception on the ground. It wasn't quite as bad as it looked, but it was to my advantage for it to look bad, let's put it that way. So basically he said, I'll get in touch with George. Now I didn't have a clue who George was, but apparently it's the owner. So the several offices that they've got, this guy doesn't work in the office that I was in, which is the one that I've dealt with all along. It's the office closest to this place, that's why it goes with this place. So anyway, he said, I'll get in touch with George, and he will get in touch with the owner, the landlord, basically, and first of all find out if we can sign the contracts on her behalf, otherwise they'll have to be posted. She's out in the Middle East somewhere, but not in the UK, so you're relying on post with documents that may never get there, basically. Not all countries have got a good postal system, and often post has got to go through 1 or 2 countries to get to the one, so yeah. So anyway, we left it at that, and not long after I got back, I got an email from George has contacted the landlady. She's asked us to get a quote to deal with the alleyway. Basically, I think they're going to lift the pavers up and relay it with gravel, which will be nice and flat and doesn't kick up. And in theory, leaves can be swept off of gravel, yeah, so I can keep it tidier. So that's bonus number 1. The landlord said, I don't want anybody messing with the tree, as my son-in-law is a tree surgeon. I'll get him on the case. So somebody's going to come round and deal with the tree. Yeah, so good stuff. So some progress on the 2 things that I'm not too keen about on the house, basically. So if that alleyway can be made safe, you have to bear in mind, when I'm clearing up the garden, all of the waste that I bag up to go to the tip, I've got 2 choices. I can either take it down that alleyway, carrying it and not looking where my feet go, or I've got to bring it through the house. Those are the 2 choices. So getting that fixed up will be pretty good. So that was that, and as I was out, you know, I don't go out that much, I thought we'll get the car clean. I've been meaning to do this for a while, because now I can use the carport. If I get the car clean and put it in the carport, it stays clean. Yeah, doesn't get all the bird muck and rubbish off of that flipping oak tree all over it. So had a nice car clean and a wax and everything. That'll do it for the winter. It's not a weekly event, far from it. So that was that. And as I was out, what else shall we do? Well, what we did was we called into the big DIY superstore and got the stain for the bonsai staging. And I've thought about it, and I thought this takes 1 to 2 hours to dry depending on temperatures. And it'll need more than one coat basically. And I said, if this is a water-based stain and once it's dry it's waterproof, how does the second coat soak in? He said, it's a little more complicated than that. He said, it only becomes totally waterproof when it's cured, and that takes several days. So as long as your second coat goes on before it cures, it will still soak in. So you get a greater depth of colour and everything. So yeah, so we got the stain, and now that I've mentioned the stain for the other stuff, I mentioned the shed and the fence. And I said, I don't mind doing the job, but would the landlord pay for the paint? Yes, the landlord will pay for the paint, as long as it's forest green, so she doesn't want the colour changed. So I'm happy with that, because I don't want to change the colour. It'd take about 6 coats to change the colour, whereas if you use the same colour, you might get away with 1 or 2. So I can get on with the shed now and keep a receipt for the, for the stain and get that back. So that's good. And that will really, make that corner look nice. And once the bonsai staging's out there with the bonsai trees in their nice pots all done, the garden's going to start being somewhere I want to be. I'm happy to look out the window at it, but to actually be in it and relax and enjoy it, it needs to be done. If I go out there and I get my sun lounger out, and the shades on and everything, and right, I'm going to sit in the sun for a bit, and everywhere I look there's a job to do, I'll come back in. I won't enjoy it. So that's that. So got quite a bit done today, really, and ticked some things off the list, and got some authority to, do stuff around here. So that's good stuff. It looks like Hannah will be down for the weekend, so hopefully we'll make a dent in some of the garden. I don't know how much we're going to get done. It could pour with rain and we won't get anything done. But the goal is to get some gardening done. And Hannah's one of those people that if she relaxes, like if I put, like we have something to eat in the evening, sit down, I'll put a film on. She's asleep in 10 minutes. If she stops doing things, she just basically goes right down fast and she's sound asleep. I often go to bed and leave her asleep on the settee, because with her job, any sleep she can get is a bonus. I mean, she gets up at 2 o'clock in the morning to go to work, leaves the house at sort of 3 o'clock. She's got a 3/4 of an hour walk to get to where she works, because at that time of day there's no transport, she doesn't drive. So she has a hard life, quite honestly, and never gets enough sleep, which is why she can go to sleep so fast and so easily. If I stop talking in the car, I look round, she's sound asleep, because she's sitting down and relaxed, so I just let her sleep. When she wants to, when she can, she gets to sleep. So yes, so I didn't want this video to be really long, but there's a few updates, a few things going on. I can now, what I'm going to do with the bonsai staging is I'm going to pull the car out of the carport so that there's a gap behind it which is undercover, can't be rained on. And then I'm going to use the cardboard box. One of the bonsai staging is in the carport because I couldn't carry it in because my back had gone. So it's out there in its cardboard box, and the idea is to take the cardboard box off carefully so that I can put it on the floor, and then I can get the pieces out and coat up one side of them, sort of leaning against the wall, and any drips will go on the cardboard, and then go back the next day and put a second coat on, and then go back the next day and turn them round and do another coat, because it won't take me long. I've spent years doing painting and decorating as a sort of part-time thing. I've done up many houses and stuff, so I paint at a hell of a rate. And stain on bare wood, which is what it will be, you don't have to worry about brush marks and stuff like that. You should get it on there. And I mean, when I do the fence and the shed, I might well put it on with a sprayer, because that's even easier. Anyway, so we will make a start on the bonsai staging in the not too distant future. What I won't be doing is doing it when the temperatures are ridiculously low, because it won't dry. So I need, for the time of year, a reasonably mild spell. Now today I went round with the sprayer and watered absolutely everything. And that might be the way forward for a while. Until I get the next lot of orchids boxed up and out of my way, which it's not going to happen this week now, because it's now too late. So it'll probably be next week now. I only say probably because it's a weather check again. I'm not posting stuff in the freezing cold, sub-zero and all that. But chances are they'll get boxed up and everything on Monday next week, and I can take them around the post office and they'll be on their way. And then I can let Carol know they're on their way so that she can, there'll be a tracking number so she can see where they are when they're liable to be delivered. So I'll get that done, and then once that sheer number of orchids is out of the way, I'm going to rearrange the shelving, and hopefully some of the lower shelves will become empty and move up one, because we've got back to fuller shelves again. We're on the lower shelves, we're starting to do the bending again. So we're back where we were before. So there we go. And on the end of this video, I'm going to put the rest of the clips from Burnham's. Now these aren't Burnham's stuff. These last few clips are the Orchid Society displays and some parts of Orchid Paradise, which is separate from the growing nursery. It's a separate place with a pond with fish in and waterfall and all that sort of stuff. And it's where Sarah puts her specimen plants when they come into bloom. So unlike the nursery at this time of year, which is just a sea of green as far as you can see, everything in there will be in bloom. And she puts some education boards up as well, talking about the types of orchids and stuff. So basically it's the two orchid societies, Devon Orchid Society and Cornwall Orchid Society. Bournemouth Orchid Society was supposed to be there, but they bailed out, so they weren't. So it was just the two instead of the three. But they managed to fill up the space where the gap would have been, so it didn't show. So it was as though they never existed and the other two took over the spaces. So it worked nicely. So the last few videos from that day out on Sunday with Lynn will be tagged on the end of here again with a bit of music, and that will be the end of the videos from that Burnham visit. Hope you enjoy them, and if you do, don't forget the old thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed, it would be nice if you did that as well. And the bonsai channel, I got past the 1,000 subscribers, so I fulfilled all of the requirements, which was the 4,000 plus views in a year. That was easily done, in fact. Over 1,000 subscribers. You must have an AdSense account. Well, I've already got that. It goes with this one, so I just link that channel in. And what's the fourth thing? I've forgotten now. But anyway, all my boxes were ticked. So basically it said, as far as monetization is concerned, apply now. You don't get the apply now box if you don't comply and meet the requirements. So I've applied. It can take up to a month, but it's coming soon. So soon we will have a monetized bonsai channel. And quite honestly, I feel a bit guilty because I don't make a bonsai video very often. I feel like I want to make one now. But I need to be in the mood to do that sort of work, so it probably isn't going to be today. It may well be tomorrow because I've done the going out bit and all that stuff, and I've watered everything in here. So tomorrow I'm sort of almost at a loose end. I've still got the staging to stain, but that will be a good day to get a tree in and perhaps do some work. That might be an idea to get another video up on the channel. So anyway, I end the video with those clips and a bit of music. Thanks for dropping by. Good to see everybody. And then I'm going to go and fall asleep in the chair because I think football's on. Now, you know, sometimes I've got to find a film that I've seen a couple of times, and if it's a good film, it can take a while to actually fall asleep. But football, I can sleep in 5 minutes. I can beat Hannah. I don't like football. Anyway, see you next time. Thanks for dropping by.